Hey there, it's Allison. I wanted to share with you some gender-related thoughts I had this morning as I was laying in bed, because it's kind of interesting to me, and I would be interested to hear if anybody else out there has any similar thoughts or can relate to what I have to say. So, I was thinking about what I want my body to be like, because that's what I've been deliberating about for years, or like what would make me happy with my body. And this kind of relates to a video I made, I think, last year, where I was saying that I wondered if transitioning, taking testosterone, could be kind of like growing up. Because I didn't really feel like an adult, and I wondered if being like a man would make me feel like an adult, because I am a masculine person. I haven't totally been thinking like that lately, necessarily, because for a while I haven't been thinking quite that much about transition, although it always pops into my head from time to time. Like, I've been watching a bunch of trans guys' YouTube videos again, and I don't realistically think that I really want to transition, but I just think about it because I still wonder how I can be happy with my body or change things so that I'm happy with my body, because I'm not quite there yet. But then, of course, I wonder if anybody is. Like, so many people have body issues, even if they're not trans or genderqueer. I don't know. Anyway, so I was thinking, like, what would be my ideal body? Like, I don't really like my boobs and, like, the female aspects of my body, but then I don't totally want to be a man because I don't want to be furry, I don't want to go bald, I don't have any particular desire for facial hair or deep voice, not totally. So, like, what do I want? And I was thinking, so this may not be realistic. Well, it's not really realistic. But it could be so ideal for me to have an adult version of my kid body. Meaning, being like an adult size, but having just kind of like a straight body without hips and stuff. And no boobs, no period. Was so traumatic to me, as I explained in my video about puberty from a long time ago. But then to also not be like furry. I think it would be kind of annoying on a day-to-day basis to have a penis. Like, side note, not related, but I still don't totally understand how men can ride bikes comfortably. But that's beside the point. I do not need to know. Anyway. Yeah, so having an adult version of a kid body, that could be awesome. Like a third sex or something. Like the butch female sex. That'd be nice if it was just like a grown-up, like, straight body. Straight in shape, of course. Not sexuality. But the thing is, it's like, it's not realistic unless, I mean, you know, I could get top surgery, but that's pretty drastic, and I don't know that I feel the need for it enough to warrant getting it. I'm like, I usually kind of dislike my boobs, and I feel very self-conscious about them in a not very good way. But then I don't have that feeling like, oh, they're tumors, or I'm gonna kill myself. I don't really feel quite that way, and I know that some people do. So I'm glad that there is the option of top surgery to help people who feel like super, super, super awful about their boobs. But I don't totally feel that way personally. And then Like, I suppose one could get a hysterectomy or something, but that's so drastic too. And that has health repercussions. It's not very good for your body to be without the hormones that you are supposed to have naturally. And then for me that raises the question, why do we even have like male or female in mammals or most creatures? How did that even come about? Like, if you really think about it, like, evolutionarily, why did that happen? Like, because, of course, life started with these tiny little cell organisms who just, like, divided to make new cells. So it's like, how do you get from that to having strictly males or strictly females? Like, how did that happen millions of years ago, or billions of years ago, and why? Like, I don't totally understand how that originally happened, or the reason for it. There might be a reason for it, which would be great if someone could explain, but it's like, don't you think it would kind of make more sense for all creatures to just be hermaphrodites? Because then any creature, or like any being of a species could reproduce with any other being of that species, and what's the problem with that, you know? I don't get it. Like, why is it that to be an adult mammal or human being, like, unless you're the rare case of an intersex person, like, for the majority of people, it's like you have to be male or you have to be female in terms of your body. That's what nature gives most people. But why? How does that make sense? It drives me crazy. Anyway. So, yeah, so this is what nature tends to do to the majority of people. I guess for the purposes of, like, reproducing, of course, because, like, why are we even alive? We're mainly just alive to reproduce and make the species continue. Which is frustrating, because it's like, I have many more interesting reasons to be alive than that. So I don't see why my whole existence has to be shaped by being one sex or the other, just so that I can potentially breed, you know? I feel like at puberty my body was just hijacked by nature for this purpose that I may not even ever fulfill. You know, like having a baby. Like, I'm a lesbian. And of course a lot of lesbians have kids, which is fantastic. But it's like, I'm butch, you know, I'm masculine. Why do I have to be hijacked for this purpose of having a kid? Doesn't make any sense. And it's annoying. So, like, after puberty, I feel like my body never quite belonged to me in the same way it did when I was a kid. It just became this other thing that was not under my control and did things that I didn't like. So, how does one deal with that? I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, I've heard people say, like, people who work for corporations, you're a tool of the man. You're just working for the man. You're a tool. That's how I feel, but for nature. So, anyway, oh yes, another comment relating to this. So, when I first came out, when I first realized that I was attracted to women, and when I first came out as gay, I had this almost sort of like spiritual, or at least very meaningful feeling, where it's like I kind of returned to, or was reconnected to, this very powerful, invigorating spirit that I had as a kid, and that when I came out, I realized that it seems I had just gradually lost that spirit when I was a teenager. So when I came out, I kind of returned to it, and it was so invigorating, and it just reconnected me to the core of myself. Just like being out in nature and running around in the woods. It reconnected me to that, which was very amazing. And that spirit is me as a kid, and my body, being an adult female, it kind of distracts me from that or gets in the way of it. You know, like the other day when I was out hiking, running up this hill, the sky was so blue, the wind was blowing, and, you know, my shirt was blowing in the breeze, but I just had this yucky awareness of my boobs, which I did not want to be aware of while I was just out in nature running around. And I was like, why am I aware of that? That sucks, and it's kind of narcissistic or something. But I did have this consciousness of them, and I just wish they weren't there. So how do you deal with that? I mean, you might say that I could just wear a binder, which I have tried at times, but I just don't want to do it on a regular basis because it's so uncomfortable. Even though I have an appropriately fitting binder, it's uncomfortable, and comfort is a huge thing for me. I like my comfort. And I couldn't really wear it while doing athletic things, like being out in the woods, running up a hill, you know? So I couldn't wear it for that large of a percentage of the time anyway. So I just don't know what to do. I'm just trying to find a way to be okay with how I am, or change how I am so that I can feel great about it. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you listening to my rambling. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.